mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad. Your mom and dad.
Well, welcome home, family. It's your mother and your father. We need to change.
I was gonna say, you did that last time. So
I know,
you
but I'm
can't
saying
just
we
do
need
the
to
same
change
thing.
our intro music just for traders into like bagpipes. Like I need something ominous and like that round table music.
Dun, 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 dun. It's your mom and dad. It's your mom and dad. Dun, dun, dun.
I need to just.
On the coast of Ireland, your mother and your father come
I
to
think
you.
they film in Scotland.
Ye Scotland. Ye old. Yeah. Okay, let me make custom music for every show we do. Dude,
I think you should.
Me,
I think you should. And then also for when we cover Love is Blind, you need to do some like very cheesy romantic like, and then they looked at each other and they knew it was over or whatever. I can't.
Well, yeah, I like that, but at the same
have-
time, it's like it's mom and dad. So it's like do 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 do. It's your mom and dad that do a podcast and they're married and they have a child. You know what I mean? They just because that's what the songs on that show do. They just say what's happening. They're like, and she walks in the room and he's talking to another woman.
Is that what makes
just like,
traders so?
Do they send the songwriters like the scene? And they just go right to this, and the guy's like, "Okay, cool. 1, 2, rat-doon, da-doo-doon, doo. They're in the pool, and they're talking about what are they gonna be after the show." It's like so bizarre how like there's no subtlety. It's just literally the description.
Is that what makes Traders so magical to watch? Because it does feel like you're watching an actual cinematic experience because there's not a ton of singing going on except when we're marching to the round table and it's the same song, and then all the other music is more like orchestra, symphony. Is that maybe what makes it so magic?
I think it's kind of what I said last week. It's the only show that doesn't involve romance.
There are a lot of shows.
No, I'm saying I'm saying that we recap and talk about.
Okay.
It's the only show that's not about love.
True.
So when it's not about love,
Yeah.
then you kind of make it more about the theater and you know what I mean? It's not about two people getting together, so it's about like the pageantry. You know what I mean?
I don't know about that.
I'm here
analysis.
all week. Let's get into this. Let's get into these two apps because
Listen, we are talking Traders episodes 4 and 5 today, and I have to tell you out the get, I believe, and I'm going to say this with my entire chest, I believe Candace and Hot Rob are the best trader team we've ever seen on the show ever.
see.
I believe it.
Okay, I like that. I like that you said it with your chest.
Whole chest.
Inappropriate. Okay, I like this. Right, I like this idea that they are these great players, and I think they're pretty good. Personally, I don't think it.
Wow.
I don't think. I think it's the opposite in regards to. I think they're great, but I think this is the first time we've ever seen
The worst faithfuls ever.
Exactly. To this level, they're not doing anything. All they have to do is not talk. If they just don't really talk,
True.
then they're going to go far because we've never seen this level of faithfuls fighting at each other and not even get like at one point someone like mentioned the word Lisa, right?
Monet. And then Monet, boom,
But
gone.
other than that, for like 1 second, someone said, "What about Lisa?" And that was it. Other than that, every single faithful is like, I know for a fact it's one of these 5 people, and they choose all 5 faithful. Like I've never seen misses at this level. It's truly insane. And then the one they got was the one we didn't even know about anyway. So it's like the turret is completely protected by the ignorance and also pride of the faithfuls. These faithfuls, some of these faithfuls are so confident, and they have zero ability to tell what's going on. It's unprecedented.
It truly is unprecedented. Now, I will agree with you. I do think they are the worst trader catching faithfuls we've ever witnessed, ever. But I also think Candace and Rob have a magic. Now, I'm living for Rinna. I'm living for
Of course.
Rinna in her shades constantly, but let's be real. Rinna came into this show. She's such a known individual that the fact that Rinna has been so low key, everyone's like, why is Rinna being so low key? It doesn't align up. Right. It doesn't add up. But she's doing a good job not causing too much of like a stir. But Candace and Hot Rob are a balance, are a team that is so incredible to me. I think Hot Rob making himself completely invaluable in all of these challenges and supporting everybody and keeping it low key and quiet as he does, distracting everybody with just the shirtless overalls. Yes. Great moves.
That's his uniform, right? Like I feel like I've seen
the
him.
Shirtless overalls. Yeah, he's distracting the faithfuls. And then Candace. I know last week we were talking about how, you know, it's almost like everything turns up Candace, like everything just kind of worked out and she could have gotten stuck in some bad situations. Yes. This week, I feel that I have seen the art and craft that she has been creating. She has made herself so beloved to everyone in that house. Every single person loves Candace and trusts Candace. Yes. And the fact that Candace is pulling this game where she's like, hey, I'm sticking with Ron. I don't like that everyone's just running around throwing names out.
That was really good.
Her crying with Tiffany, like her being, you know why? Because she actually cares. Like you see her in ITMs being like, it's hurting me to have to get rid of this person. I don't like that now I'm having to betray, because she actually feels it. Mm-hmm. The people around feel that she does feel it. Yeah. It's artistry.
Let's get into it because I mean,
the faithfuls are the worst.
It's the worst of all time. All they got to do is just not. All they got to do is just like honestly, Candace is doing too much. Like she doesn't have to be doing this well. She just needs to not talk, and then they'll take themselves out. Let's get into it though, because we're getting ahead of ourselves. But man, it's funny because we've never seen this little of the traitors on the show. Like they don't even cut to them very often because no one's ever considering them and they're barely talking, and it's like perfect.
I've never witnessed faithfuls. There's a couple players, Colton, with an ego the size of the entire universe, okay? And you're watching egos, Michael and Colton, go toe to toe and just implode.
Insane.
And then there's Ron, who is an enigma that I cannot understand.
I want to get into Ron.
Yeah, I want to get into Ron too. Okay. Well, we're going to dive into both of these episodes 4 and 5. But before we officially dive in, we got to take a quick pause, family. So, listen, you can't talk traitors without talking fashion, right? And you can't talk fashion without talking Quince. If I was on this show, I'd get my whole wardrobe from Quince, no question. But IRL, I always, by the way, start the year wanting my closet to feel easier, like fewer question marks in the morning and more pieces that I can just grab and go. And that's exactly why I keep coming back to Quince. Their pieces feel effortless, but still really gorgeously put together, which is kind of my dream wardrobe. Everything layers well, mixes easily, and just works with real life. Lately, I have been so into the Mongolian cashmere sweater from Quince. I've been wearing it everywhere. It's soft, it's polished, and honestly, feels like something I'd expect to cost way more. Oh, all the pieces from Quince are so good. The trench coats. The
best. The stuff's incredible. That's what Quince does so well. They really nail the essentials. Cashmere sweaters, 100% silk tops and skirts, perfectly cut denim, all designed to last season after season, and their Italian wool coats are standouts. They're beautifully tailored, soft, and substantial. Not trendy pieces you wear once, but coats you keep reaching for year after year. You can tell the quality right away too. The stitching, the fit, the fabrics, everything feels intentional, and Quince makes all of it using premium materials in ethical, trusted factories, then prices it way below what traditional luxury brands charge.
Oh, the prices, honey, you have to check them out. The prices. These are the pieces that get the most wear in my closet. Honestly, everything from Quince, and they hold up. I've also picked up a few things beyond clothing, like travel and home pieces, and it's the same story. Thoughtful design, great quality, and no unnecessary markup. It just feels good buying things you know you'll actually use and love for a long time. So refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Don't wait. Go to quince.com/momdad for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/momdad to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/momdad. All right, let's get into Traitors. So,
Yes, please.
first episode 4, we are left off with the Traitors having to do
Yes.
a face-to-face murder.
Murder.
But we have the people tied to the trees, they're blindfolded,
thing.
they're pleading for their lives, making some wild pleas, by the way.
Well, it's just theater at that point.
Which I love the theater.
It makes no sense. People are like, if you don't kill me now, I'm going to get you. And it's like, is that... I don't understand why you
I
would do
love
that.
the theater of it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is a prime opportunity to start bargaining with
Yeah.
the Traitors.
Be like, hey.
Why are you threatening them? Isn't that going to make them want to off you more? I don't get it. You know what I would do? I would have memorized before going onto the show, I would memorize a full Shakespearean monologue.
Oh, wow.
Like, a 16 to 32 line piece. And I would just start quoting it because that would be so weird.
That would be weird.
But it's also fitting because it's Alan Cumming and the Traitors.
Yeah.
So they're like, what is that?
Like Braveheart?
Macbeth? No, I said Shakespeare.
No, I
King.
know, but they're in Scotland. You know what I mean? So maybe some sort of, I think that might have been Scotland. I don't know. But yeah, no, that would have been cool. Weird.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
would have cut it, but it would have been cool.
No, I don't
You
think so.
You think
No,
it would've been
it's
used?
too weird.
Pageantry,
It's too
true.
weird. I could imagine someone like Sandoval doing that.
Oh, God.
He would have been like,
You'd be like,
I'm
hand
gonna,
me my horn. and
I'm gonna
you'd play.
show everyone that I am an artiste, and he's gonna start quoting Macbeth.
Insane. Absolutely insane.
But then we see them the next day at breakfast. Monet, with her gorgeous fit, had a brilliant idea and is like, hey, as the people come in
Yeah.
who are the ones who don't get murdered,
Yeah.
we need to start questioning them and see if the scene is set up exactly the same way.
If the stories match.
Speaking of Sandoval, like what happened last season when, Sandoval blew the whole thing when there was a misquote on the stories matching and
Right.
Sandoval didn't put 2 and 2 together. This is the redemption arc.
is the redemption
Monet's creating the redemption arc. And so immediately Ron
Yeah.
comes in. Now, I don't know if I'm mistaking episodes, but I think this is the episode. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the next one. Either way, one of these episodes, Ron comes in for breakfast wearing a neon orange trench coat. Now,
Wild.
I felt
like traffic cone orange.
I fell out of my chair.
It
laughing.
looked like an Amazon purchase. You
It
know
was
what I mean?
wild. It
It's
was
one
a
of those
wild
like
choice.
weird, like it's like what's his name? Pumpkin.
Oh, David S. Pumpkins.
David S. Pumpkins. It's kind of just like it's traffic cone orange. Amazon.
Did I
Overcoat.
find it to be not something that I love? Yes, but beyond that, what made me fall out of my chair laughing was that he's trying to like not get eliminated at the round
And he's just
table.
like, look at me in this thing.
And so he kind of like slips in. He slips into the breakfast room,
yeah.
trying to almost act like no one notices him, wearing a neon orange trench coat. And so him like sneaking around the manor quietly, trying to avoid confrontation in a neon orange trench coat, it was sending me to the moon. That was so funny. So he explains what he experienced with the Traitors. He thinks there are 3 of them. And then we see Ron begin to start a new campaign, which is that he heard the lightest of footsteps.
Yeah.
So he knows that Mora is one of the Traitors.
He's like, who are the lightest people here? Mora looks like the lightest. It must be her. Also, like,
and with confidence, it's Mora.
And this is the multiple time he's done this, right? He did this with Portia. He did like he's weird in the way that like he's so kind of sweet, humble, and then he says things that are like incredibly confident. So he'll just be like, I don't know, I don't think anyone likes me, and I'm kind of not feeling very included here. It's her. And it's just like, geez, man, like don't you think you might want to just play it low key? Like, you're talking about feeling alienated. You're talking about feeling isolated. You're talking about feeling kind of like not like kind of picked on almost. And then you just like attack people. It's like, dude, pick a lane.
That's why he's an enigma to me, where he is this sweet, quiet, kind of just making his way around the manor, so soft spoken. And then all of a sudden like,
Dorinda, it's you.
At the round table too, he's like, I don't care about your family and I don't want you to know a fucking thing about mine.
Crazy. He's like the meanest, sweet guy in the world. It's like, he's the most humble, sweet, mean person I've ever seen. He's like said some of the rudest shit. While at the same time, well, that's kind of the narrative that they're talking about. It's like you're always crying that like you're not being included in this, but you're also like saying horrible. It's like Dorinda's like, yeah, ask about your family. He's like, no, fucking ask about my family. It's like, okay, what is happening?
Well,
Which one is it?
I know we're jumping in, but at the round table, when then he was saying, he's like, well, from my perspective, I think the thing you have to do is once you start to get to know people, you have a bias. So I'm trying to not have that bias. And he's then slipping around the manor, making the wildest. Like, he's trying to be a detective, and his detective radar is so off. It's like, it's Mora.
It's bad.
Full confidence. And
this
I'm like,
not
Ron,
his game.
stop.
This is not his game. He's 0 for 3.
You got to look around, my guy. Yes. Is Mora teeny tiny? Yes. So are many of the people on this cast. The teeniest of tiniest people walking around with teeny tiny footsteps. How do you know? Oh, there was a lot of people hearing things that just were not accurate.
They're checking on him, and they're kind of, he seems a little sus. And then they start doing it to multiple people. Yeah, right?
They do it to Lisa.
Lisa, who looked super frazzled. And they're like, well, and Monet almost got her because it was like, Monet said either, they had like a black mask, and then I think Lisa corrected him and said like it was gold.
No, yeah, Monet was like, was it a gold mask?
Yeah.
And then Lisa said, it was a black mask. Yeah.
It was like, it was a way to catch. So that was good. She caught that, but she did act really sus like right away. They're like, what was the situation? She's like, but the fact she made it out is pretty amazing.
The fact that during Lisa, when they were questioning her, she was so blatantly uncomfortable. The fact that nobody in that moment went, Lisa's the traitor, just shows that the faithfuls are just so off this season. I'm like, you guys. Bad. I'm like, we're going to start accusing Tiffany, and Lisa's right here freaking out. Lisa, confident Rinna, who is like the queen of the ITM, who is the queen of like letting people have it. So, she's frazzled right now. Please. Please.
And we got Eric come in, and he has to go through the gauntlet too.
But then we hear
Eric. He brought up the axe.
Yes.
So it's interesting. There was a couple, like, they were trying to get him because he brought up the axe, which then they were like, Ron didn't bring up the axe.
No, he did bring up the axe.
Ron brought up the axe?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was Eric brought up the axe and Ron hadn't. And they were like, that's what happened. Eric brought up the axe. Because he's like, and they set us free by chopping the thing. And they were like, Ron didn't bring up the axe. That's a pretty big detail.
Said that Ron brought up
Either
the
way,
axe.
they were trying to catch him. No one got caught in it.
No.
But it was a good strategy.
But that's when we hear Eric say that he's 99% sure that he heard a laugh.
Yes.
And that it came from a person that he has suspected as a traitor from the beginning. He doesn't tell us who yet.
Yeah. Interesting. That was kind of I feel like that was kind of a page out of Pilot Pete. I remember him doing that kind of stuff. Breakfast. He was always doing breakfast stuff. Like people would walk in and be like,
Pete was intense at breakfast.
So, how did you like the blue coat? And they're like, I think it was orange. You're like, oh, okay, he's good. He was always doing that kind of stuff.
Pilot Pete.
But he was always very good at that.
You know what? I would love to see Pilot Pete on this season right now because I think Pilot Pete would put Colton in his place, and somebody needs to. And I think Pilot Pete it would be Bachelor against Bachelor, and Pete would be like, "Oh, you think you've got this? Right. Watch me shine." Okay? Because here's the thing. Pilot Pete, regardless of how you felt about how he, I was frustrated because I wanted the traitors to win, but Pete knew what he was doing.
Master gamer.
He came in and he actually was accusing correct. He had his nose to the trail. And Colton
is just once and got right.
Ego.
Like, I don't remember who said this, but it was like, I'm a nurse, so I know people. It's the same thing as Colton. Colton's like, I played football for 17 years, so I'm going to win this game. And it's like, I don't think that's how it works.
Pretty sure not everyone who's won was an ex-football
you played
player.
Football, so therefore before you know what's going to happen in
Like-
this strategy game? Very interesting,
Please,
but hilarious classic. You guess once, you get it right on the test, and then all of a sudden you're the genius in the class.
The ego. Well, we find out that Kristen was the one who is saved between Kristen and Caroline. She comes in.
Yeah.
They have killed Caroline.
Yeah.
And that moment was incredible when she goes, Rinna, you bitch.
Yeah, it was funny. She's like, well, I guess I'll see you at BravoCon. She's like, no, you won't. Go back to Dubai. It was very funny. Like they were doing the whole like really dramatic thing, and then at some point, like Caroline kind of breaks it. She's like, well, I guess I'll see you at BravoCon, right? Like, no, you'll be dead.
You know what though? What I
very
believe
funny.
in my heart is that Rinna will hold true to that. Like
Yeah.
Rinna now is like Rinna's so deep in. Rinna's like, no, I'll never speak to you again.
Yeah.
I think if you went down a Lisa Rinna housewife path,
I love the ones that are just
the unhinged.
wild.
You,
love
I
the
think, would
unhinged
become
ones.
obsessed with Lisa Rinna. Like I
'Cause
know
the greatest
this.
ever is what's her name?
Vicky.
Vicky's my favorite of all time. Just when I see clips, I'm like, that
Nightmare.
woman is incredible. She's just going off. Anyway, okay.
So then before the mission, we see Colton. Colton is starting to gather the troops. He's like, I got Donna, so I'm a traitor hunter, and now I'm going to take a really big swing. And he declares to a group of people that he believes it is Tiffany. Okay? Now, let me tell you this, and I genuinely think Colton's case against Tiffany was one of the least filled with evidence I feel that we have ever seen ever on our screen for Traitors. There is no evidence for why he got rid of Tiffany. Like genuinely, his only piece of evidence was the fact that he's like, well, I'm a smart guy and I'm having a hard time with this. So you as a woman are 5 steps ahead? No way.
Yeah.
It literally was like, she's so well thought ahead. And she said to us that she believes that it's Jam, Ron, and Michael, and she wants to get rid of them in that order, which
Which
again,
is just
all
so funny,
wrong. All wrong.
No one's even guessed one. They haven't even included like Hot Rob in like a group of 4.
Honestly, Michael's been the
like-
only one who's kind of
It's
thrown out
honestly,
Hot Rob.
yeah, it's honestly like more likely. It's less likely that they don't. You know what I'm saying? Like the odds that they've not even been considered by anyone is like super low. I think I'm going to make this prediction right now. This house by far the most ever. The reason I think why the faithfuls are so bad because it by far is a likability competition.
I was going to say,
It's not about strategy at all. It's about likability. So when everyone talks about like Ron, it's a perfect example. Ron is not doing all sorts of traitory stuff.
I mean, he fully accused Portia and was wrong. He's been accusing people and is wrong.
Well, that's true, but I'm saying what I'm trying to say though is like they're all accusing people and are wrong, and I'm just going like, but Ron has developed an unlikable vibe to them where it's like he kind of accuses people and then kind of plays that he's like the sad guy. Michael Rappaport is like,
a nightmare.
a nightmare, super unlikable. Okay. What I think led to Tiffany's demise was that she was friendly with Michael.
I know.
And so they were like, why are you friendly with this guy? We hate him.
Yeah.
I think it's a popularity contest more than ever.
It's interesting you say that because Ron did say that in one of the roundtables where he was
felt
like,
I'm not one of the cool
he
kids.
goes, I feel like you guys are just all, and people are scratching random people's back. And far be it from me to ever agree with something that Michael Rappaport says, but he did make a comment where he's like, it's got to be one of the hunks. Hot Rob, Colton, or Steven. Now, Steven's, has been chill and we haven't seen anything from Steven really.
But three hunks who haven't even been considered.
3 hunks who haven't been considered. And to your point, everyone is kind of just like following these hunks and drooling.
Yes.
And they're like, whatever you say, daddy. Like it's a little bit that energy.
And they're only voting on the people that are kind of not in the cool club.
Yeah, it's true.
So Tiffany wasn't in the cool club. Ron's not in the cool club. Michael's not in the cool club. Any of the ones that the faithfuls are getting rid of, they're just kind of on the outskirts a little bit.
But girl, I was when Colton started bringing up his evidence to take a big swing against Tiffany, I was raging out.
Yeah,
like raging out because there was zero evidence. It was truly just this woman is super smart and is 5 steps ahead of me, and there's no way she could possibly be that far ahead of me, so she has to be a traitor.
It
Like
just makes
literally,
sense.
I was mad.
doesn't
I
make
was
sense.
mad. Well, then after that, after we hear that they're rallying, that Colton's trying to get this going, which, by the way, that's then when we hear Candace, who I am obsessed with Candace. I'm obsessed with Candace, where she was talking about how she loves Tiffany and how Tiffany's a great mom and a great person and a great ally. She doesn't want to get rid of her. So then we have Candace, who's like kind of the only person taking a stand at this point then against Colton's coup to get rid of Tiffany.
Yeah.
Okay. Because Candace has a heart. Okay, but then we have the mission, which the glorious blazing beasts mission, where they have to find spears. They're broken off into groups.
Yeah.
They find spears, and then they throw a spear into one of the beasts, which has a name of one of the players, to set them on fire. If a beast burns and gets hit by a spear, that person loses their shield.
And just like all games, no one's doing any strategy. They're just doing payback. So like, someone will stick someone, and then the next time they see that they got stuck, and they're like, well, I'm sticking them back. And that's all the games so far have been that. No one has thought, we should get that person,
It's
because
true.
every single game that's been played, just like this one, we don't even need to get into it. Everyone just stuck whoever they found out they got stuck by. That was it. And they'd scream their name. Like, yeah, screw you. That's it. Complete waste.
When Michael ended up sticking Tara, which, by the way, Tara's crew, which was Dorinda, Maura, and Rob, stuck Michael with a spear because obviously everyone wants to get rid of Michael. When Michael then chose Tara, he randomly chose her. He didn't know that it was Tara out of the 4, and then he was screaming her name over and over and over again. You know what? These faithfuls are unhinged. They are unhinged. There's no strategy happening. You're right. Everyone was just
it's like junior hires, popularity, pettiness. That's the whole thing. No one's talking about strategy. That's what makes Colton feel so smart, is that he's the only one kind of like mentioning it. And so he's just like, I'm the super genius.
True. Well, we end up finding out then that the people who don't get shields are Ron, Tiffany, Monet, Michael, Tara, Steven, Lisa, Maura, Johnny, and Jam Jam. So all of them are up potentially to get murdered.
Yeah.
And the only thing then that happens that we need to make sure we make note of during this game is that Monet mentions to Candace that she is suspect of Lisa Rinna.
Yeah.
And then Candace is like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And pulls Rinna aside and is like, Monet said your name.
Yeah.
And I was so bummed out because obviously Rue Girl obsessed
Right.
with Monet. And Monet's been a great, you know what? There's one of the few great faithfuls.
Yeah.
Monet's been a great faithful. Monet isn't going along with the whole, Monet wasn't like, yes, Colton, anything you say,
Doesn't
Colton.
speak out about people unless there's like some, like,
Nope.
okay, let's have a conversation.
Nope. Monet's taking her time, kind of like seeing, making choices, just determining
And
her.
guess the only, and
is the one
very slightly, just quickly guess the only actual correct guess. And then,
And the brilliance also of saying too in the ITMs, or it was either to Candace or in the ITMs, Monet was like, I've suspected Lisa Rinna from day one, but I haven't mentioned her because I haven't gathered evidence. It's just a feeling.
Right.
Smart. You're not just declaring.
But maybe being dumb's kind of the key here.
But Monet said it to
the only
Candace, because Monet trusts Candace. And this is what I'm telling you. Every person trusts Candace. There was a scene later with Tara and Johnny, and they asked Candace, they're like, you trust us, right, Candace?
Right.
And Candace was like, yeah, I do. Like, everyone trusts Candace. So let us continue on with this episode. But first, we need to take a quick pause. Family, watching Traitors always gets my fashion wheels turning, but also my architecture and interior design wheels with that manor. I'm always thinking about the interior design watching Traitors, okay? And speaking of that, I feel like we've all had that moment where you walk into a room in your house and think, this could be so good, it just needs help. That was me always before we started ordering from article.com, baby. And now anytime we're updating a space or adding something new, Article is always where we start. We have bought so many pieces over the years from Article. I'm talking our couch, accent chairs, a couple of side tables, dining room table, and every single one has been a hit. The style is exactly what I love. It's clean and modern and warm and especially timeless. These pieces are pieces that you actually want to live with and that you'll love for forever too.
They're the best.
They're the best.
We love Article. The quality is the first thing you notice too. From the way it's packaged to how solid the furniture feels when you put it in the room. It's clear they care about craftsmanship. The weight, the smooth edges, the sturdy joints, everything feels really intentional. A lot of the pieces come mostly assembled, which I really appreciate. And even after owning some of them for a long time, which we have, they've held up beautifully. Article also makes designing a space way easier. Their curated collections, mid-century modern, coastal, Scandinavian inspired, all mix and match really naturally. You don't have to be an interior designer to make it work. And shipping has always been fast and affordable with the option for professional assembly if you want a totally hands-off experience.
And their customer care has always been so great too. If you have questions or need help choosing pieces, their team is available 7 days a week, and they even offer free interior design services, which is such an amazing touch. It's incredible. Plus, I love knowing that there's a 30-day satisfaction guarantee, so you can shop confidently and take your time deciding if something is right for your space. If you're ready to make your home feel more intentional and put together without overthinking it, here is the deal. Article is offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. To claim, visit article.com/momdad, and the discount will automatically be applied at checkout. That's article.com/momdad for $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. Okay, back to the episode. So right before the roundtable in the car and back in the manor, a few notable things to mention before the roundtable. Number one, Tiffany tells Maura that Ron wants to see if she's a traitor. Okay, so now Maura's prepared knowing that Ron is interested in her being a traitor. And Eric mentions that he has a suspect but doesn't want to throw off something. I think that that's interesting too, to keep that noted. There's a moment where Natalie pulls Ron aside and literally directly asks, "Are you a traitor? Are you a faithful?" Which, by the way, I do love that strategy because people do get flustered and you can kind of pick up on stuff. Yeah. And he says, "I'm a faithful, but I'm not always on." And that's a detriment because people are suspect of you then. I think that speaks to your point.
Yeah.
Where I think that's going to be what ends up sending Lisa home as our first traitor is because she's not on all the time, and people are expecting her to be on all the time, especially as a housewife.
It's like it's a red flag.
Yeah. And then Colton is having a conversation with everybody about how Tiffany's the one. Yeah. And he brings it up to Jam, and he's like, she wants you gone. You can't trust her, blah, 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 blah. And that's when Candace is like to the group, she's like, "Hey, this is how Portia went home. Okay. We need to stay focused on Ron. And now we're talking Tiffany." This is genius of Candace to say to the group, to make a statement and to be like, "Hey guys, let's focus on Ron first because we don't want to do what we did to Portia." Candace knows that they're both not traitors. Yeah. But what's going to happen tonight when Tiffany gets sent home, people trust Candace more. Right. Because she's like, "Hold up, you guys, let's not do what we did to Portia." Right?
Yep, 100%.
So smart.
And she said in there later on to it too, "I'm being consistent." You know what I mean? Like, I want Ron gone. I think he's whatever. So it's...
And if she keeps up that strategy, she can hold to that. So that when she's at the round table, she can just stick with the same one or two people and say, like, "This is how I've played it from the beginning. We made so many mistakes at the top with voting out faithfuls because we're randomly coming for people. Like, no, I'm going to stick with this strategy."
Yeah.
And so then she doesn't have to worry about at the round table, like, who strategically should I pick? It's like, no, you just play the character of like, I'm staying consistent.
Right.
Very smart.
Very smart.
So we get to the round table. Colton immediately looks at Tiffany. "You're the traitor I'm going after tonight." She's shook.
Yeah.
Like, she is visibly thrown off. You can tell she did not expect this at all.
And at first, like, she did this whole round table, like, "You're taking this way too personal." You know what I mean? Like, you're kind of, she was momming everyone in the room. It was very funny. It was like, she was just like, I'll talk to you in a minute. I'm not talking to you right now. You're dumb. And then later on when she's like, I need the money. That's when I was like, oh, you know what? We're so used to these kind of influencer celebrity people that like probably have a decent amount of money coming on here and kind of just don't care, especially like the housewives and stuff. Like, realistically, what's this money to them? So when you do have, like we were talking last week about like this, a lot of the survivor people who aren't influencers and don't have all this money, it's like this is a new angle that I never thought of. So when she was kind of thinking, hey, I'm gonna need this money for something, or I kind of would like it, it became a lot more scary when you're on the chopping block.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I was thinking about it the entire time because that was one of the first things I noted in episode 1 when Tiffany was like, I need to pay for my kids' college.
Right.
And I'm like,
there's a lot of extra pressure.
There's a lot of people in this room who, like we mentioned, are like, hey, this is going to get me a new Birkin bag. Yeah, okay. For Tiffany, it's like, no, I need to pay for my son's college.
Which puts a lot of pressure on you to do, you know what I mean? Like where everyone's just kind of having loose fun, you're kind of just going to feel a lot more of that cooker.
Of course. And we saw that with Tiffany. Tiffany was like right away, like trying to do game playing and get this thing cooking because she actually has something at the end of this where it's like, hey, I need to be able to pay for my child's schooling. Which is why I was raging out watching this because that's what I said. I was like, I want Tiffany to win because I wanted her to get the money. Yeah. And so when I was living when Colton like right away comes for her out of nowhere and he was like, yeah, you know, I might have struggled. She's like, yeah, well, you're struggling right now. And her like shutting him down, I was alive. He came back with some responses though, where he was like, are those 2 F's in your name when I write down your name? It was good. That was like, you two are getting spicy.
She slapped him pretty good and he slapped her back pretty good. They had a good little like dueling situation, but
the tiff with Tiff got spicy.
But in my personal opinion, it was her reaction that really sealed the deal, other than obviously Eric, but it was like her kind of taking it more personal. I did feel, it's like we later see that with kind of Michael's reaction. It's like when you do take it really personal and you don't just make it kind of like a strategy thing or deflect, you do just, everyone kind of smells blood in the water a little bit and they go, all right, that seems like a good call. Let's go after them. You know what I mean?
Well, but then she literally though had her moment where she said, hey, you know what? I realized like I took this personally. I shouldn't take it personally, but this is why I'm feeling this way and I'm thrown off. I heard it
was a little too late though. You know what I mean? Because people already kind of are like, oh, okay. Everyone's kind of in on this.
I heard Bob in an interview, Bob the drag queen, talk about how when your name gets thrown out there and like us as an audience views it and goes, act cool, calm, and collected. Don't take it personally. Bob was like, your adrenaline, especially if you're not expecting, like clearly Tiffany wasn't expecting her name to get thrown out of nowhere. Bob was saying your adrenaline goes so through the roof
fight.
that you're just like, I need to come up quickly and I'm panicking. It's like a fight or flight response. So then you're like defending yourself. It does become personal because you're like either like with Tiffany, I need this money for my kids' college, or even if you don't need the money too, there's this feeling of like, I'm over here, I flew all the way over here, I want to stay on this show, like, you know, whatever it might be.
100%.
But how it's like to actually stay like, oh well, I don't know, is like near impossible.
And then Eric was truly, it was listen, if I was in the room, I would have gone falling for it too. Like if someone told me, hey, I'm a musician and I hear this stuff and I heard a laugh, like a laugh's a great tell because you're just thinking in terms of like, we have nothing to work off of. Yeah. You have something maybe. And Colton already went after her. She looked maybe guilty with her reaction. And then you have this other guy that has this like actual piece of evidence. I mean, I feel like if I was in the room, I'd be guilty of like getting suckered into that.
So this is my Colton tirade. Yeah. Obviously, you all know how I feel about Colton being on this show in the first place, and I do not believe that he should be getting platformed after what happened with what he did with Cassie. Mm-hmm. I don't think that he should be getting platformed. So that's already how I feel about Colton. But on top of that, even like this is just how I feel, okay? Colton went after Tiffany with no evidence. Right. Just that it was like she's too brilliant, you know, whatever.
I'm so smart now that like even if I just feel it, it's real. You
but
know?
Also again, and then the evidence being there's no way she's smarter than me, which already makes me upset.
Obviously upset, but also just like, I don't even follow the
But
logic.
I think, and then after we saw the repercussions of this, after Eric was like, hey, I heard a laugh and I thought it was Tiffany. And then everyone, when they voted saying basically Eric's piece of evidence is what secured me now voting for Tiffany.
Yeah.
The difference being is after Tiffany got cut, Eric was clearly distraught. Mm-hmm. He was tripping about it. He felt terrible.
Felt awful.
He's like, oh my gosh. And he even said in the roundtable, he was like, just FYI, like I could be wrong because the stress of the situation, you think you hear things, but then everyone took that and ran with it, which these faithfuls have been doing. It's exactly what they did with Portia when Ron was like, she said this. Nobody was there, but they were like, Portia, she did it. Right. But Eric afterwards felt terrible. He even had in the ITM conversation where he's talking about being like the child of an immigrant and then this feeling of like needing to, it was an impactful ITM. Colton has no regrets, keeps going so hard, like after, then keeps, it's like he has zero regrets. He's like, well, I'm a football player. I'm going to keep coming. Yeah. I believe that Colton, and when I was watching this, I was like, Eric, no, don't listen to Colton. No. What it felt like to me is that Colton probably convinced or talked Eric into saying that, because if you notice, earlier in the ITM, when he first came to breakfast and in the car, he said, I have an idea, but I don't want to say anything about somebody if I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't want to mess anything up. And then all of a sudden at the round table, he says it. I can almost promise you that Colton convinced him in a conversation and was like, hey, guy, I know it's her. I know it's her. You got to say it. You got to say it. Do you have anything? Well, I thought I heard her laugh. Yeah. You got to use that one.
Right.
Because even afterwards, when she went up there after the vote, they were like having a moment where it was almost like Colton was like, hey, we got this. We got this. Like, I can almost promise you that Colton convinced Eric to go for it before Eric was ready. Yeah. Because Eric was like, I don't know yet. I feel like I need to have a little more evidence. Yeah, and then all of a sudden he said it.
He probably got in his ear.
That's what I think was going down.
Yep, I agree.
That's what I think was going down. Well, I disagree with you about the way that Tiffany responded. Okay. I do not think that it made her seem more guilty. Mm-hmm. I don't know how else someone's supposed to react if they're a faithful. I didn't feel that way. If I would have been in the room, I would have stuck with Candace. I would have been like, we're sticking with Ron. We've got evidence piling up way more against Ron. We keep talking about, well, actually, if I was in the room, I would have voted off Michael because I would have been like, I can't handle it anymore. I don't think he's a traitor, but I can't handle it. So Michael's got to go and we'll go from there. But I could not believe that Tiffany got voted off by everybody. I felt differently. I was like, I don't know. This was just such a... Now, again, unfortunately, when you're in that situation and there's groupthink, maybe I would have succumbed to that. But I don't know. I just was like, there's no evidence. But her exit speech was a 10. Yeah. When she was like, I'm proud of myself and you should all be proud of yourselves too, because you have proved that you get what you deserve and you all didn't deserve me because I am a faithful. Do you think they write these beforehand in their head? Because how does someone...
They write them in their head.
There's been a few people, like an exit line like that. Like, I'm like, Tiffany, did you come up with that off the dome?
Maybe they write before, like, hey, everyone prepare your
an exit line. Or you just kind of do it on your own. Yeah. I feel like I would fail an exit line miserably. I'd have something.
Guess what? I'm a faithful and y'all suck.
I feel like I would try to make something really cool and then it just would come out not making any sense. Yeah. And it'd be like, never
You
mind.
ever try your best, but you don't really know what you're doing, but you're confused? That's you guys.
That's you guys. But yeah, she gets cut and this one really, really bummed me out because like I said, from the first episode, I wanted it for her because to see someone walk away who like needs the money and especially like for your kid for college.
Yeah, that sucked.
Let's get Tiffany famous on Instagram, everybody. Let's make Tiffany a bigger influencer. Like, let's do things to ensure that like her kiddo's college will get paid for, like, get her some coin because
that was tough.
That's
tough. Early on too, the panic probably set in too because it was early in the game, and she saw that she was up. That's probably the extra fear there too. It's just like, no, already, So Well, R.I.P.
I know. I'm so bummed. Well, after this, then we have the traitor's turret, and Candace is starting to feel like she's betraying people she cares about. It's taking a toll on her, and everyone in that room is sad for Tiffany.
Yeah.
Like Lisa was tripping about it. Rob's tripping about it.
Everyone
so is Candace.
Kind of uncalled for.
Well, they were like, she was a single mom, and like she's this hard worker, and she's an awesome person, and everyone just like followed what Colton said and came out of nowhere with zero evidence and just like took her down. And then coming off of 2 of a week with Portia, where Portia, the evidence was so minimal, it just feels yucky. Getting these women to, it just felt, this was, it just was like, no. Well, they are then debating who they want to get rid of. Rob talks about getting rid of Steven, obviously, because he's also one of the hotties.
Right.
Rob's like, there can only be one.
Yeah.
But Lisa ends up finding out Candace tells her that Monet said her name, and they don't think that anyone heard it.
Yeah.
And so it won't be like Lisa looks suspect if Monet is gone. But they're sad because they're like, we need Monet for the mission.
Yeah.
She's a voice of reason. But I got to tell you what, watching this turret, this crew together, they're smart.
They're really good. They're really calm. No one's coming in and kind of like, they've always struggled in the past with like a bulldozer in the room. Someone kind of coming in and like, this is what we shoot and we're fighting over it. They all are calm, cool, collected, talking logic first, and they're all very agreeable.
They have each other's backs.
Yeah.
They genuinely don't want to screw the other person over. They are all extremely smart.
There's no big personalities either, so everyone's really chill.
Well, you know what's so
funny? I know Lisa is, but like in this way, the way they're acting is no one's trying to.
Yeah, it's funny on screen. Candace and Lisa, huge personalities, but everyone is being so.
Yeah.
I have to say, let's be real. In the past, whenever there's the traitor turret, the egos get involved, and oftentimes the ego comes from a man. And it's the men who put their foot down and go, you guys are being too crazy.
Trust me on this.
Trust me on this one. We got to do it this way. And then the women are bringing up great points, and the guy's just like, no, we got to do it this way. Shout out to Hot Rob.
Everyone feels seen in the room.
Shout out to Hot Rob. Most of these other men, egos through the roof. Hot Rob respects his partners, sees how smart they are, respects them, and doesn't try to like push whatever. He doesn't push for his ego alone. And I have to shout out Hot Rob for that, because the men of the past, it's not what we're seeing. So I have hope for our future generation watching Hot Rob respect the women in this turret, okay? So shout out, work it, King. We'd love to see it.
He's killing it. He's killing it.
And he's doing a great job.
He is. He's doing a really good job.
Okay, let's then get into the next episode, episode 5, but we got to take another quick pause first. So family, you know, when they are filming on this set for hours, they're needing to get some solid snacks in. If I was a contestant, I would legit fill my entire suitcase with David protein. Okay? It's just as a fact. I would fill my whole suitcase. Hear me when I tell you, I have tried over the years so many different protein bars, and honestly, most of them leave me kind of disappointed. Either they taste like chalk or they're basically a candy bar pretending to be healthy. And what I kept noticing too was a lot of them have like decent protein, but then they're also loaded with sugar and other stuff that I just don't need. That is why I was so thrilled when I found David protein. I usually grab one midday during the afternoon, and when I need something that actually keeps me full and satiated, because David just hits so differently. I always have one in my purse. This is a fact. Since I discovered there is always a David in my purse, and they, on top of it all, they are so delicious. They are so good. And they have this really like indulgent doughy texture with actual chunks and like crispy bits in it. So it feels like a treat, but the macros are wild. I was struggling with not getting enough protein, and David protein is helping me so much. I am obsessed with these bars.
Incredible.
Evan sees me eating them
We have
all
so many
day
in the house, and we're just crushing them. They're so good. David Protein really is different from most bars on the market. David Hero Gold line has 28 grams of protein, only 150 calories, and 0 grams of sugar, which means 75% of the calories are coming from protein. That's the highest protein to calorie ratio of any leading bar out there. It delivers the most protein for the fewest calories, which makes it really easy to stay full and hit your protein goals without overdoing it. And they actually taste good, like so good. I've been rotating between the peanut butter chocolate chunk, the fudge brownie, and the cinnamon roll. I honestly keep a couple in my bag at all times. Work, hockey, no big deal. They're so good.
So
unbelievable.
Good. I am currently obsessed with the chocolate chip cookie dough and the cake batter right now. I cannot stop eating them. They are so good. They're filling and satisfying, and they fit so seamlessly into my day, whether it's a busy morning or a quick bite between meetings or something easy after a workout. David just makes protein simple without sacrificing taste or texture. Like, I don't think I can explain how happy it makes me to know I'm actually getting the protein I need in my body whilst chomping on something that tastes like a delicious treat. Like, I just didn't think it would happen. So I'm so grateful. But don't take my word for it. Get your own. David is offering our listeners a special deal. Buy 4 cartons and get the 5th free when you go to davidprotein.com/momdad. That's davidprotein.com/momdad. And if you'd rather shop in person, David has officially launched nationwide at Walmart. Just check out the store locator on walmart.com to find the one closest to you. Okay, so let's start episode 5. We enter the next day at breakfast, which I'm just now seeing. This is the day that Ron came in with the bright trench coat. I was wrong, but I honestly, it's even more intense now, because now we're even an episode farther where people are even more suspect of Ron, and he wears the brightest color humanly possible.
Makes no sense. Why do it?
Everyone's eyes go to him. But we see a few moments where Kristen is talking about how she thinks Colton is fishy.
Yeah.
That's starting to float around. And Kristen hasn't really spoken up a bunch. So I'm hoping that this is now a campaign that people trust in. It's like, listen to Kristen. She hasn't been, accusatory of everybody. Why are you not? Here's the bottom line.
Yeah.
If I was one of the faithfuls, I would 100% think that it was Colton.
Yeah.
100%.
I agree. It's a fine line, though, because you have to kind of we're not in the room, and we're not if he's kind of popular, you got to be careful, right? You got to be careful. So if he's friends with a lot of people and they're all having a good time, then it's you got to realize that's more powerful than logic, especially with these guys.
I wouldn't be loud about it. I would just in my head be like, this, it's Colton,
this is
right?
sketchy. Yeah.
And the whole Donna thing was like a traitor on traitor situation, a Bob and Rob type of situation where it's he got rid of her and he's using it to his advantage as a traitor. There's no way that I wouldn't think it was Colton the way that he's moving.
Yeah.
Maybe it's too big, but I'd also think that, again, he was taking bigger swings like some of the past traitors have taken. Also, now that I'm thinking about it too, in the turret the night before, we find out that Monet is murdered. I'm so devoted. Obviously, they had to have the conversation about cutting Monet because of Lisa Rinna. But I'm surprised that Michael wasn't part of the conversation either. I'm like, are you guys really not ready to get rid of Michael? And Michael too also causes a chaos. I'd be worried if I was Hot Rob, because he called out Hot Rob night 1. If I'm Hot Rob, I'm a little bit like, Michael's got to go.
Yeah.
He causes chaos. Chaos can be good sometimes.
Depends, yeah. It can
but
really
Michael's
work.
Chaos, I think, isn't good. Well, obviously, I don't enjoy it, but it's also, I don't think, good as a traitor, because Michael does sometimes say things where it's like, oh, Hot Rob. Right. Where it's like, well, hold on a second. And
he'll just throw out random accusations.
He'll throw out accusations without even thinking, and it can actually get people's brains turning a little bit. Yeah. That it's like, no, I need controlled chaos a little more.
Yes.
The 3 traitors don't have a relationship with him. Yeah. So they can't really control that chaos. Anywho, I was laughing so hard. I don't know if you noticed this moment when Monet gets cut and Colton's like, Monet, cheers to the best dressed. And Lisa Rinna quickly is like, well, one of the best dressed.
She's like, I will speak up for that.
Literally, Rinna's like,
that's the most important.
I win that award. I'm like, Rinna, love
not
you,
go too
but
far.
let's not go crazy here,
that's
okay?
very funny. She's like, I'm willing to put the traitors online for that.
That was the one time she spoke up. Not actually the most, but stressed. Well, after breakfast is when some things start to shift a little bit. Lisa says that she's going for Ron. Someone says, why? She goes, many reasons. Thankfully, Candace is there to hop in and give reasons.
Give actual reasons, yeah.
Rinna sometimes, she's
just a little loopy or something.
It's almost like Rinna, because they have to do all their own makeup and glam.
Yeah.
Which is really intense. And I think for a lot of these housewives, like Rinna, who's loaded, someone's always doing her own makeup and glam. I think she's probably in her head thinking like, how am I looking on camera? How's the glam looking? Like, that's where her brain's at. It's not like, why are we? I need to have answers prepared.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, are the lashes lashing? Is the eyeliner eyelinering? Right. How's the hair laying? This is what her concern is. But then Maura says that she's suspect of Colton because of how hard he rallied people against Tiffany. So we have Kristen, we have Maura, we have a few people who are like, Colton. Michael then is like, I'm going to go for Colton. Colton is, starting to throw around some things. So you're seeing some people. Kristen is kind of pushing the sus about Colton. But then we have Ron. Yeah. Ron, who is now saying that he is 99% sure that it's either Michael or Dorinda.
I mean, I just don't understand how every single one of these people are getting it wrong.
And he
how is there no one? It's insane. It's truly incredible.
He says it to Dorinda's face.
Yeah, like while they're sitting there, he's like, by the way, he's like, she sits down quietly and they kind of sit there awkwardly. And then she's like, what do you suspect? He's like, you. It's like, jeez, bro.
To her face. I'm like, where's...
So bizarre. Like how he's this... I can't get a read on him. I don't understand what's happening.
Where's the strategy? Ron? Why would you ever look at someone dead in the eyes and that you just started to 99%
Unless
suspect?
you had a lot of support and you could take them out and then you want to see them kind of squirm and see how they react under pressure, but have no support, be kind of like, to your own admission, isolated, and then be like, isolating yourself more. It is truly a mystery to me.
By the way, Dorinda, I suspect you. Oh my gosh.
And it made everyone so uncomfortable.
Now, interestingly enough, Mark says that Dorinda always defends Michael and just says that's just how he is. So Ron does get a couple people who are like, oh, it could be Dorinda.
Could be, I guess.
It could be Dorinda. And honestly, as a viewer, it could be.
Sure.
As an outsider, that's actually maybe one of the few that has been brought up by the faithfuls that I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Because Dorinda has gotten this pass because she got cut the first season, that no one is kind of coming for her. Everyone's just kind of letting her slide. And considering that they brought her back, the likely guess would be that they made her a traitor.
Maybe.
Because that's what they do. They do that type of stuff. They bring someone back and they make him a traitor.
Right.
So it would make sense to be like,
Right.
But I'm like, Ron, why are you saying it to her face?
I know, it was insane. Another enemy created.
So then they have the next mission, which is the Fountain of the Faithfuls. Right. And they have to retrieve the mission statue pieces and set them in the right places. And they got to go out and find coins in this like murky water and then grab the and they tell them where the statues are and then they bring the statues back. Now, when they go and find the statues underneath the statues, there are shield pieces. And Alan says, here's the deal. If no one touches a shield piece and doesn't take one for themselves, there will be no murder tonight. Right. But if just one person snags a shield to protect themselves, there will be a murder.
And they're not going to tell you until the next morning when they just wake up and everyone's either all there or someone's dead.
And I'm guessing it won't be announced who took the shield piece. So then the question is, are you willing to risk? Yeah. Like, are you going to trust in the group or are you thinking someone's going to snag one?
Right.
Or a move you could pull is, as one of the traitors, you're like, I want to off somebody.
Right.
Am I going to try to really sneakily take a shield?
Right.
So that as a traitor, I took it. Does that count then that we get
probably
to?
Not. I bet they probably didn't allow the traitors to take them, or else they would have done that,
Something just a quick little sneaky.
Yeah, no, I bet they couldn't. I bet they said, hey, you can't take one,
Just a quick little sneaky.
A little squeaky. A little sneaky. shield.
If you were one of the faithfuls, would you take a shield?
No, because I don't want it to come out accidentally. I don't want somehow someone to find out. Then I'll look so guilty. I would just rather be able to, when I'm having conversations, know for a fact that like I was one of the faithfuls all the way through. I just feel like it'd be too risky.
I didn't think about the conversation part. You're right. All of a sudden when someone looks at you and go, did you take one? And then you'd have to start lying and then you'd look like a traitor.
Adding, the more lies you have to put together, the more you might slip. So I would just have to turn my brain into just kind of like, I'm unaware. I'm just floating through this thing until strategy called for it.
I was going to say that I would take one because I'd be too paranoid.
Yeah, sure. That's the other side of it.
But let's be real here. There's no way I'd take it. I'm way too much of like, well, if everyone said they weren't going to, then we can't. I'd feel really bad.
Way too scary to me.
I'm way too much of a rule follower. I'd be like, all right, we all agree that we're not going to, so I'm not going to.
Way too scary to me.
Do you think someone took a shield?
Yes.
Do you have an idea of who you think it was?
Well, I mean, I would imagine it would be someone who's suspect of themselves getting caught. You know what I mean? So like Colton's not going to do it. You know, Eric's not going to do it. Like everyone, you know, the people who seem to be it's going to be someone who's like fearful of possibly getting cut.
Okay.
Do you have an idea?
You know what? I feel like
one of the outsiders.
I thought when there was the moment because Lisa and Candace are on Colton's team and Colton was the one person. Colton and Natalie were the two people who were like, I think we should take shields. I think we should take shields. We can't trust the other people. So when we see them in the turret later, I thought that Lisa and Colton and Candace's group took the shields.
Got it.
I was pretty convinced because I was like, ooh, Candace even said in the ITM, she was like, oh, I'm happy I'm on Colton's team because Colton's shady.
Yeah.
And he's going to try to sneak some of those shields.
Right.
But I think what you're saying is right. Colton is thinking like, the traitors aren't going to kill me because he knows he's a faithful and he knows that they can pin stuff on him because he's been vocal.
Right.
If someone took it, I think that it's Maura.
Oh, that's just a good guess.
I think it's Maura.
Yeah, because she's a little just anxious and she wants safety and she doesn't really like. I can sense it, you know. And then when Ron accused her, she's like, "F Ron," you know what I mean? So she just wants to hang out. I think she has a little crush on Hot Rob. I think that she likes being there, and I think she just doesn't want to go home for that reason.
I think I agree. And I also think that we've seen her in the challenges. She does whatever's going to make her the most comfortable.
I agree.
She's like, I want to sit on the throne. I want to get, when Hot Rob was carrying her, I died.
Yeah.
When he's literally carrying her so she doesn't have to run, as Dorinda, the older woman, is not getting carried behind.
He's like,
and she's just like, and Rob's like, I got you. I'm like, this is the stuff of my books. Everybody, this is the stuff of my books. Hard. I think there's some mutual energy going on.
I don't know. We'll see. Rob is hard to read. I definitely know but she's also like finding the strong man to protect her in the castle energy, which is very funny.
You can carry me. And she's like, she knows what she's doing.
She knows what she's doing.
Which is why I think she might be the one who grabbed it. Just a quiet snag. Not like the whole group, but just a little, shield.
I'd forgive her though.
Oh, I'm all about it.
She's so non-threatening when it comes to like the game.
Hey, if anyone wants to snag a shield, I'm all about it. I got a couple people I don't like. Right. Other than that, anyone else who wants to do it, I'm fine with it. Yeah. And is that biased? Yes.
100%.
But that's just how I feel. So after the mission, we have some intense moments. In fact, that's when Ron actually tells Dorinda to her face that he voted for her. I keep mixing up things with Ron. Listen, Ron, you're an enigma. You're floating around the manor like this little ghost who I'm not sure how to read.
The most sensitive ghost in the world.
The most sensitive, but also not very nice ghost.
Yeah, kind of rude, sensitive, sweet ghost. I was like, I'm so confused.
So I'm mixing up a lot of stuff about the patterns of when things are happening. But we have a showdown that begins, which is Colton versus Michael. And this is ego to ego, one of the wilder things we've seen. These are two men in this manner who have let their ego lead them in very different ways so far on this show. Colton's let his ego lead him by the football player energy of I play aggressively and I'm going to call out whoever I want to call out because it's my game and I'm just thinking about me.
Yeah.
And we have the ego of Michael, who is like, I don't care how obnoxious people think I am self-aware and I'm just loud and I won't apologize for anything I say or do and it's just who I am and I'm loud and intense and people can deal with it and I'm going to let my ego just I'm going to point at different people. So it's ego to ego, man.
It's really interesting. Yeah. I feel like Colton's more of a classic ego. He's like, I'm hot and I'm super smart. And so trust me, that's his kind of angle. Michael to me hits me far more insecure. Like he hits me as someone who's actually, it's kind of sad. Like he hits me as someone who's built a career around this like personality.
Yeah.
And it makes him have no friends. Like, honestly, it kind of has that. I mean, I've seen him in other avenues too, like in media and radio and whatever over the years. And it's like, everyone hates the guy. Yeah. And he's this person that just like attacks and then gets attacked. And it's just like, you can just see that it's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of icky. You know what I mean? Like he just seems like he does this thing where he just attacks people and says crazy shit. You know, because he's in the middle of these rants and you're going, oh, he's taking this all personal. And then he'll be like, oh, I'm the best looking guy here. And you're like, okay, there's a comedy relief there. So you're like playing this bit of this like angry guy who's going off all the time. And I'm tough New York guy. But you could tell he's very sensitive. You're right. He is taking it really personally. He goes in these really weird rants, but then it's also like, he's also playing this role of the loud guy that just, if you yell long enough, then people will believe you or maybe just get annoyed with you. This was a really interesting one because he would just scream. And he wasn't even saying, like, you know, Maura said it perfectly when she said, like, later on, she said, like, you know, you talk a lot, but you say nothing. Because it's like, that's what he does. He yells. That was so fire. So fire. He yells, but he never really says anything. And it's like, we've never seen someone become this unlikable this fast from everyone, both sides. Yeah. Everyone's like, get him out of here. So the fight was interesting. Imagine what it's like in the manor if everyone's saying that. Yeah, because let's be real, they cut scenes together. And that's like, the thing. It's like we could say as an audience, like, oh, he was probably way less obnoxious and we're just seeing the moments. No, every single person in the manor is like, get him out. And I think, you know, you're right, Evan. I think he probably was I think you saw it on his face. He was hurt when he found out that Tiffany thought he was a traitor. So I think he thought Tiffany actually just liked him. Oh, and then he finds out that she was just trying to keep him close. Day one, remember, he was like, I trust you 100%. But the second he found out, that he's really like sensitive. Like the second someone shows like a like to him, he's literally like, I'm your best friend forever. Yeah. And I think he has his feelings hurt that the housewives aren't rallying beside him because he's always at BravoCon and he works with them and then they are like, we don't want anything to do with this guy. You're right. And he's taking out his insecurity in these intense, rageful ways. On everybody. And therapy is a necessity. I hate you before you can dislike me kind of thing. You're right. You're really right. Therapy is a necessity. He needs some therapy. Let's talk Colton versus Michael in this roundtable because it got intense. Very intense. But we got to take one more quick pause, family. So we're having fun with traitors, okay? But friends, let's have a real talk moment. January always brings that moment where you're looking at yourself like, all right, how do I actually want to feel this year? After the holidays, after all the late nights, the overstimulation, the everything, I found myself wanting something that helped me unwind without making me feel worse the next day. And that's why we've been genuinely loving Amantara, formerly Minnesota Nice Ethnobotanicals. Amantara is a trusted source for legal plant medicines, and they're best known for Amanita muscaria, and many people are now using it intentionally to support calm, sleep, and nervous system regulation. Yeah, and there's a real reason why people are paying attention to this. Substances like alcohol work on the GABA system in the brain, and coming off them can feel rough. Anxiety, agitation, insomnia, that wired but exhausted feeling. Amanita works on similar pathways, but in a non-addictive way, which is why a lot of people are exploring it as an alternative. The company we trust for this is Amantara, founded by Christian Rasmussen, who actually used Amanita himself for his personal recovery journey. That's why the brand feels so intentional, earning a reputation as the #1 Amanita supplier in the U.S., known for transparency, sourcing, and education.
And the education piece really matters to me. If you're interested, I highly recommend checking out the dosing guides they provide and info so people can approach this intentionally and informed. Amantara doesn't hype things up. They're very clear that this is a tool, not a cure. Recovery, calm, and sleep are all part of a bigger picture, and this is just one option people may not even know exists. For me personally, I use it as a part of my evening wind down when I want my body to relax and my brain to quiet down. I feel calmer, more grounded, and my sleep is noticeably better. They offer Amanita muscaria capsules, plus things like blue lotus, reishi, and other calming plant medicines. I love their reishi for sleep so much. Evan loves their blue lotus tea.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Loves that. So if you're curious, Amantara is offering 22% off your first order just for our listeners. Go to amantara.com/go/mom-and-dad and use code MOMANDDAD22 at checkout. That's amantara.com/go/mom-and-dad, code MOMANDDAD22. If you're looking for a calmer way to unwind in 2026, this is worth checking out. Okay, so before the round table, that's where Colton versus Michael begins. He's having, he's preaching to his, Colton is preaching to his disciples, his faithful disciples in the kitchen about how his new theory is that everyone who voted for Michael night one is gone except Jam Jam.
Right. Which is not a bad theory.
It's really not.
No. Like, there's not a lot of evidence for anybody. So when they have evidence like that, it's like... But then I thought Michael had a good comeback. He's like, what do you think? I'm the ringleader of the turret and I just kill anyone who looks at me wrong? Because I will say, like, that's the most on the nose thing you could ever do is just if anyone doesn't like you, you get rid of them. Like, that's the fast. If you've ever watched the show, they always go,
It's
this
true.
one doesn't want me, but we can't kill him because it'll make it look,
Even though if Michael was a traitor, he would exactly do that.
That's
He's
true.
so emotional.
He
He would be like,
He goes like, yeah.
Literally, like someone said anything against them, they're gone immediately. Gone immediately.
Gone.
But then Colton's doing this sneaky thing where he's like asking Michael when Michael walks in if Alan stays in his outfit when he comes to the turret. And then afterwards, everyone's like, Michael got flustered. And I'm like, no shit.
Yeah.
Because you know why? In any situation, if all of a sudden you ask me a question like that and I'm in a traitor situation where I'm supposed to be on guard and we're handling roundtables like this group of faithfuls has been, I'm like, if I slip up one little word, my head is at the round table.
Yes,
like
100%.
I can't. So of course Michael's going to be flustered. Do I want Michael gone? Yes. Do I think that there is actually more evidence against Michael because of his behavior on it? Yes. Way more so than Tiffany. So I'm like, okay, at least I get that, Colton. And that's when Michael tells Colton, he's like, hey, if I were you, I'd be playing it cool.
Which I thought was a great point. Because but again, it's the delivery. His delivery's horrific. He's you idiot, you're traitor. I mean, it's just like, he makes even great points seem bad because of the way he delivers. But I thought that was a great point. It's like, hey man, you were the one that led the charge and took out a good faithful last night.
Yes.
And a single mom. Like, you wrecked someone.
You wrecked somebody.
And now you're rallying the troops the next day. Like, I think it would be in your best interest and everyone's just to kind of like maybe take a breath, kind of go, oh, you know what? We really got that one wrong. Let's kind of not quickly jump into assumptions here. And I thought it was a great comeback. They were going back and forth really well. It's just that he made Colton look like a victim because of how intense he was screaming and yelling, that he made him look like, you're crazy, man. Agreed.
When they were in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But then when they went to the round table.
And by the way, but real quick, before the round table, he was doing this like to where people were like, I was hearing the screaming. Because he would leave the room, then come back, follow them, and then people would leave, and then he'd be still yelling. So he created such a toxic environment where none of his points were penetrating anymore. It was just purely unhinged. Now everyone's like annoyed.
Totally. And then once they get to the round table, he starts off by conniving, colluding,
You had an alliteration
commiserating Colton. When Hot Rob interrupted and was
so
like,
funny.
Commiserating means that you're like empathizing with somebody.
Yeah.
It's driving me crazy.
Yeah, like he's like a grammar police. He's like, actually,
but literally the fact that he kept using it as an insult, and he's like, "What do you mean commiserating is a negative thing? What are you talking about?
Right.
Commiserating means that Colton then is like empathizing and getting under people. What are you talking about?" He's like, "You're wrong. You have the wrong definition." And I heard in that moment 100 phones open to double check the meaning of commiserating
100%.
because I did because I'm like, I know what commiserating means, but I'm like, when Hot Rob is the one. You know what? These are my biases.
Yeah.
This is my problem. I see Hot Rob and I'm like, Hot Rob doesn't know commiserating. And I'm like, Hot Rob's right.
Hot Rob's right. Here's where I feel like it was already going bad for Michael. But the difference is, like, to be honest with you, if you're going to yell and scream, the worst thing you could do is make it look performative. Mm-hmm. Like Tiffany took it personal and was tweaked, and it just felt real. So at least you're kind of going, oh, okay. There's an argument to be had that this reaction's real because they don't want to be kicked off because they are a faithful. Mm-hmm. He was doing it looked personal, but then he would put these corny alliterations together or say, he always says I'm the best looking guy here when he clearly isn't. That's a joke. When you're yelling, but you're throwing in humor, it removes the human element of it. And I really think that was the downfall for him, was all the commiserating, traitor. It's it's so obvious this is a performance.
Agreed. But the real downfall was when he came out of left field and says, no one in this room would be better at holding a secret than you. I fell out of my chair. Now, I know he later is saying, and he was saying in ITMs and apologizing. He's like, no, I didn't mean it that way. And now the thing with Michael Rappaport, because he never stops yelling, I think he sometimes does say things that he meant in a different, he just yapping.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I know he's saying he didn't mean it in reference to Colton being queer.
Yeah.
But
to mean it or don't mean it, the effect was the same.
Dude, I could not, again, I don't know.
Hear it
I know that he's saying he didn't do it on purpose. I think 100% he did. He was referring. Yes, I think 100% that Rappaport got caught up in his emotions and he's all angry, and then he uses a homophobic comment about Colton being in the closet and is basically of course nobody would know, because why else, where would that come from? I know that he rants so I think that he said it and then immediately was like, oh no, I didn't mean it that way. Yeah. Oh no. And he's trying to backpedal. But the second he said that, literally my jaw was on the floor. I'm like, dude, I could not believe how unbelievably out of pocket that was. And the second he said that, the queer people in the room, the allies in the room were like, we're done.
Yeah.
Immediately, they were like,
that was the
we're
ultimate
done.
Because even if he didn't mean it, let's operate with he didn't mean it that way. And it just was it's unlucky or whatever. It was over.
It was done.
Because they heard it that way, and that's it. That's
it
all
was
you
done.
needed.
It
that
was
was
done.
it. And he tried to claw his way back. It was, he was already gone anyway, in my opinion. But that was true. Because then what that did is it no longer made it a him versus Colton thing. It made him a bully, and Colton was now sitting back going, oh my God, I got bullied. So it completely changed the dynamic between attacker and attackee, or whatever, attacker and defender. It became someone's no longer playing the game. They're just bullying.
Exactly. Well, before it felt like these two ego alphas like freaking out at each other. And then Rappaport became a bully.
Well, and you knew it was bad and you knew everything was done when multiple people said, I don't care if you're a faithful, I want you gone, which we've never seen that.
Well, and then Johnny right away stood up, and Johnny was just kind of dude,
you're out of here.
You are literally it made me feel sick, because it's you saw how that impacted Johnny in the gut. He said that, and it was Johnny, you felt the trauma taken back. And it was get this guy. I already hate this guy. Get him off of my screen. Legitimately.
And he never relented. He just kept yelling. Oh, I didn't mean it that way, but and it's just bro, even Maura was just shut up. Like everyone had just enough of his words, enough of his mouth, enough of it. I mean, it was such a battering.
And then Ron comes out of nowhere, and Ron's like, Michael, you're Dorinda's pit bull.
Ron out of nowhere. It's like, hey, I just want to remind you, you guys hate me too.
Well, Ron, I'm just like, Ron.
It's like, Ron, just let this be what it is.
Let it be. Everybody is coming for Michael, who you believe is a traitor. And the last time, you should not be speaking up right now because nobody believes anything you're saying. So why now, in this moment, when actually one of the people who you think is a traitor is about to get kicked off, you go, oh, by the way, I think Dorinda's a traitor too. And you're her pit bull. I'm like, oh, God.
Dude,
it's so bad.
Bad.
And that's when he went off on the I don't care about your family. My family's none of your business.
It was like, hey, just to remind everyone, for next week, let's make sure to kick me off. And here's all the reasons why.
Oh, my gosh. And Candace is like, hey, I'm still on the Ron train. Like everything that happened with Portia. And that's when she stuck her flag in the sand and was like confirming, hey, I'm going to stick to my guns on this one. Yeah. And even though Michael can't stand Joe, what you said is horrific, I need to stick with the fact that I think it's Ron. Yeah. And so the people continue to trust her more and more and more.
Very interesting.
And Colton, there was like a few moments where it was, Colton was like, tells Michael that he's lucky he's gotten this far. Natalie's like, the way you spoke to Colton is enough for me to put your name down. I'm done.
Yeah, everyone was really done.
And then Eric is like, Michael, if you're a faithful, you're the most distracting for the faithfuls. Like, you gotta go. I wrote down that I said this very sarcastically. I said, I love that Michael's excuse is always, this is just who I am.
Right.
He's that guy.
That's a classic move.
It's the move of like, hey, what you said.
I'm just an asshole, man. It's like,
even if there's an apology thrown in there, it's like, well, but you know me, I was raised this way and I was raised that way and I'm this way from New York and just who I am and I've always been this way. And it's like, hey, you can't, no, stop.
Shut up.
Stop.
He's the most annoying person on planet Earth. I've never seen someone more annoying. I mean, Colton did say it best when it was like earlier, I don't know exactly when in the episode, but he said something like, you're on borrowed time anyway.
And almost everyone voted for Michael. A couple people.
We had a chunk of Rons. I think there was like 5 Rons in there.
Lisa stuck with Ron. Candace stuck with Ron. Dorinda stuck with Ron. All of the housewives. Steven stuck with Ron.
Enough where next week Ron screwed. I mean, enough where like, oh, okay, let's say a third of the room had voted for Ron. It's like the only reason why Ron didn't get rid of this week is because of the blow up in the kitchen. If it wasn't for the blow up in the kitchen, like I think it would have been mostly Ron with a couple of Michaels.
I think you're wrong. I think Ron is going to somehow coast a few more episodes.
How's Ron going to survive this next week?
Because all of a sudden, after the round table, Colton is like, hey, to Dorinda, Lisa's been awfully quiet. And now you've got this group, and Hot Rob was in there. So Hot Rob let Lisa know at the turret. He goes, hey, Colton now is on to you. Colton finally is like, oh, I'm sniffing Rinna.
Yeah.
Now the question is, will people rally around Colton again? I think normally it would be no, but after the way Michael treated Colton in the round table, I think now he's going to have
like a wash. That week was a wash.
Yes, I think people were like, because of the terrible statements that Michael made, I think now all of a sudden everything about what Colton's done is forgotten, and now it's like, oh, we trust Colton again.
Colton's pretty wild. He just keeps going.
He keeps going.
He
might, and I could see Rinna going before Ron, and I think she will, which is insane.
So you think they'll just be like the crazy jump?
I think that, well, that's what they've been doing every single episode.
That's true. But that's only because people are throwing themselves in front. Like, let's be real. Like, oh, you're right. The Ron Tiffany thing. How did that even happen? How did Ron survive Tiffany? That's shocking.
How did Ron survive this round table?
I get that. Michael went off and made it such an explosive scene. Like, they weren't even really thinking about Ron because he made it so bad. But the fact that Ron didn't survive Tiffany did survive Tiffany is pretty wild. So you're right. You might. Oh, he did do a lot of damage this week.
I don't know.
One of the most damage. Well, I mean, listen, Ron. You seem like a great comedian. Stuff. You're one of the worst players I've ever seen.
It's so bad.
You're one of the worst. Like, at least Michael's just like, He just comes in, burns hot, and is gone. You've somehow done this weird move where I thought you were going to be one of the most likable people.
You know, I'm a huge fan of all of Ron's work, of him as an actor and a comedian. Part of me wonders, is this all part of a bit? Like, I would not be surprised.
It's like a live performance.
Well, Ron Funches has a kind of avant-garde sense of comedy that I'm like, this could 100% be a kind of experimental thing that he's going to use in his like stand-up or use for things. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Even like the fashion choices, I don't know. Something's going on. And part of me is like, is this part of, because I don't know.
It's tough to watch for me. Because he keeps saying stuff like, I won't go where I'm not wanted. And if there's no love for me here, it's like there's some sort of weird thing. And then people are feeling this kind of like, you're manipulating us when it comes to sympathy for you.
Yes.
So then you kind of cry wolf, like, I'm just a sad guy who doesn't have any love. And then we kind of maybe show you a little bit. And then you go, you're out of here. And they're going like, what the hell? So we don't believe it anymore. So it's a really interesting dynamic he's kind of fostered.
Woo. Well, that's like leading up there. I mean, now Michael's gone. By the way, when he left and he said that he's a faithful, everyone was like, no, everyone goes, okay, whatever. They're like, I don't care. They're like, bye.
Sucks that we wasted on the faithful, but
by
the end, everyone was like, you just gotta go. We don't care.
Everyone was over it. So we're left with them being in the traitor's turret. And we find out Lisa and Candace didn't take a shield, and Rob says that Colton is coming for Lisa, and Lisa is like, I want to murder Colton. Yeah. So technically, there's a chance that she could convince Rob and Candace to let her get rid of Colton. Now, getting rid of Colton wouldn't be a bad idea, because he is going to cause problems for the traitors because he is such a big leader figure.
Yeah, and he makes a lot of noise. So it's like, if you already got rid of Michael, who was a kind of a big, like, whatever, just caller outer. Mm-hmm. If you get rid of Colton,
I think it's a good call.
Who's gonna? I mean, it's random at that point. Everyone's kind of like flailing around.
And it would make sense to get rid of Colton because Colton... I was going to say, could you point it to Ron? Because if Ron and... I don't know. Or because he did say to a couple people about Lisa that is risky. It is risky to be like, does it immediately point to Lisa because he did say it to a group of people? You know what I feel like would be a good strategy? Is to lead the charge on like two successful or even not successful, but to lead the charge. And then before everyone goes to bed, go, if I get killed, you know that like I like in the middle of it realized it didn't work at all. That's what that was. I literally thought I had a brilliant breakthrough. And then I was like, and then halfway through I go, oh shit. It was so stupid. Listen, don't feel bad. You know what I'm saying? That was you know what? We can keep this. That was very embarrassing. Boston Rob. I went through a process in my brain where I was like, I just figured out something huge. Yeah. Right. So like, I'm thinking and talking at the same time. If I wasn't, I would have thought through this and then realized the flaw. Yep. But what happened is that the flaw came to me dead in the middle of the brilliance, and unfortunately, we're don't feel bad. Boston Rob said that Traitors is the hardest game he's ever played. Yeah. And Boston Rob is like the champion of all the gamer games. And he said, this is the hardest game. So don't even worry about it, babe. That was embarrassing. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, maybe I wouldn't be so good at this game. It's okay. I know you said last week I'd be horrible at this game. Listen, we don't need that. I just added fuel to that fire. I don't think you'd be horrible at it. I think I would go in thinking I could handle it well, and I would fail day one. Like you think you maybe scheme too hard? I would think I would. Because you are very... I think you would because you're very likable. I think people, but like, I guess you could get caught up in maybe wanting to scheme too hard, then overdo it. Maybe I don't know. I'll tell you exactly what I would do. I would go in. I'd be like, I think I'm going to scheme, and then I'd go, should I scheme? Should I play? Should I go back? And then I'd be like, should I? I would question every move I would make, and I would look so suspicious
Yeah.
because I wouldn't even know who I was on the
Right.
show. I'd be all over the place. So I would be terrible at it. I think I've got that cocky attitude where I'm like, I could do this really well. I know I would fail. I'm seeing all these people who are brilliant on reality TV, who've been doing reality TV for years, and they're like, this is hard. You think I would do it? No. I am very excited for the version without celebrities of this game
Oh, interesting.
to see kind of like,
Yeah.
random people play it together to see how it pans out, what it looks like. I think with
They're going to do that?
yes.
I don't know. I'm a little afraid about that because it's like what makes this show so good is that these people are really good at this because they've been doing it in multiple shows. I'm afraid about regulars being just like, oh, but maybe that'll work.
I think regulars is going to be a bloodbath.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a bloodbath. And also I think regulars is going to become pretty cutthroat.
Interesting.
I think it will be, how you're talking about popularity contest.
Yeah.
I think this show will show the darkness of humanity. I
Yeah.
think you're going to see people just immediately just trust the most attractive person and like go for the people that like, I don't know. I think it's going to be yucky.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You think there's going to be hookups?
I hope so.
That'd be kind of fire.
Yeah, I mean, you're in a hot manner. It's not like
That's what I'm saying.
it's not like you're like uncomfortable like on
Well,
Survivor.
And if you're a celebrity, you're trying to maintain an image too, so you
Yeah.
can't be doing that.
yeah.
But if you're a rego, it's like, yo, we have
Oh
a
my
vibe.
god, are people
Let's
gonna start
hook up.
banging in the
That's what
manor?
I'm saying. It might
I'm
be
all
a
about
might
that.
create a vibe.
That's sick. Well, next week we are going to have an episode to recap the next episode of Traitors, which they're going to have Cabin in the Woods. Favorite always is when they do the
Yes.
Cabin in the Woods.
That's a good one.
If you recall, a la Tom Sandoval with the singing dolls last season, that was one of my most favorite moments of television
my God, I
ever.
forgot about that. Was insane.
It's one of the best moments of TV of all time. So hopefully we have another. Now we don't have a Sandoval
Unbelievable.
with us this time, but
He's too busy. He's on America's Got Talent with his band. Yeah.
it's a wild move.
Which I thought that show was meant for like
Yep.
non-celebrity. I don't know.
It's a wild move to be a very, very, very famous person.
Think about how
and
many like
try to-
9-year-olds positions he's took
That's what I'm
from
saying.
that show.
Like to have like millions of followers and then just to like take someone's spot who's like trying to like make it off of their talent is like wild.
Sandoval? We're putting Sandoval on America's Got Talent? It's like, what is happening? He has like a 10-piece band out there. Like, what? The band's not a part of this. Just him.
I know.
It's talk about an exception.
Yeah, God. Anywho, and then also next week on this Traitors episode, there's a Dine with Death surprise. So it looks like there's going to be a new twist, maybe a new person showing up. I don't know.
Oh, that'd be cool.
But I saw someone handling some jewels. I don't know. Something's going down. It's going to be exciting. Oh, and I think, is this the episode? Maybe it's not this one. Apparently there's an episode coming up that Alan Cumming on a talk show said that this episode is the craziest episode of Traitors they've ever filmed, like the most explosive dynamic that's ever gone down. He said it's giving like, the Red Wedding, Game of Thrones, like it's nightmarish. And he's like, it's coming up. It's in like one of these, either like 6, 7, something like that. So maybe this is one of the crazy episodes.
wow, maybe.
So I'm excited. I'm excited. Well, family, we love you oh so much.
Oh, so much.
Tune in a week from today. So
Yes.
next Wednesday, tune in for our next Traitors recap.
It's a good season.
Yeah, it is a good season. It's
a lot of characters. It's unhinged. Not a lot of great gameplay, but it's actually making for kind of a more entertaining.
I'm very locked in entertainment wise
Yes,
to this season
very
because
entertaining.
it's just kind of chaos and
We'll see. It's exciting.
we shall see. All right, family,
Love
have a
y'all.
beautiful rest of your week. Bye.